Welcome back to Thursday Thunder, presented and powered by our friends, the Adrad Radiator Experts. And we welcome to the studio for the first time the Titan Garages boss man, sprint car team owner, well, pie aficionado, basically sprint car nut, Reeve Cruck. Welcome to the show, mate.
Thank you very much, Wade. Trevor.
You can wait.
You've got a very interesting build-up to World Series sprint cars coming up. We're going to get to that very shortly. But a couple of weeks ago, we saw a frightening crash at the USA. Danny Smith, one of the most popular drivers to ever race in the States. Let's take a look at what happened at Attica Raceway Park in Ohio.
Next up, in the 4-car, he's got a number of feature wins throughout the state of Ohio this season. Out of Chillicothe, Danny Smith, the 53-year-old driver, the Kiger Signs and Graphics Cure Speech. Oh! Danny Smith into the catch fence in turn number 4.
It doesn't matter how many times
Looks
you see that, Reeve and Trevor, you just, oh my goodness, that is such a frightening
still running down there.
That is scary.
And the throttle was jammed, still wide open, which gives you an idea that Danny was probably unconscious at that point. Now, Trevor, Danny drove for you only a few months ago with World Series sprint cars, ironically, to sub for you with an injured back.
Unbelievable, Wade. Like, when we seen that footage just after it happened, it just really sickened our guts, and not just us, but the whole Speedway community here in Australia. So just a terrible blow for such a great bloke. Really unbelievable, really.
Could have been worse, Reeve. The good news is, yes, he's in hospital, but it could be worse.
Could be worse, I suppose. But he, the reason why the motor shut off, it ran out of fuel. Because at such a great angle like that, it couldn't pick up the fuel. So otherwise, it would have just ran till it died.
Yeah. I think it's something we need to look at, Wade, maybe down the future, like the monster trucks have to cut off.
Shut-offs.
They were seeing some horrific crashes at Knoxville where the motors come out of them. They just keep going. I think Billy Wilburn was one that sticks to the memory. So maybe it's something we can all learn. Terrible accident for Danny and terrible injuries for him, but hopefully we can all learn from it.
Well, Reeve, you spoke to Danny yesterday. What's the latest prognosis for him?
Mate, he'd basically taken it one day at a time. He said today was better than yesterday. I asked him was he going to drive again. He said, oh, yeah, mate. He said, I'm too honest to steal. I'm too lazy to work.
Exactly.
So I've got to be a race car driver.
So you've been speaking to Steph, his lovely wife as well. Does she have a different view on all this? And what's actually the injury?
Oh, they don't really know. I don't think they know themselves what's going to happen with Danny in the future. You've got to remember he's 53 years of age. He's raced for a hell of a long time. His actual injury was a fracture down the front of the L4, and he also had 2 fractures down the back, and the piece in between that actually blew out, which is scary to think, and thank God it blew out and not blew in, because that's what it would have got the spinal cord. So they had to use bits and pieces and screws and plates and
titanium, probably.
Yeah, to patch him back up. So he's got a long scar, and it's really tough gig on him. All the phone calls and everything from all around Australia have obviously been great, but it's also been very difficult with that a number of phone calls. So everyone wish him the best.
Yeah, get well, Danny. On a much lighter note, now let's turn to the Titan Garages racing side of things. Your son Drew is one of the great characters of the sport. We spoke to Danny Reedy earlier. Drew, certainly in a very similar mould. Take a look at the TV commercials that Reeve runs in Queensland as the market leader for Titan Garages and Sheds.
The Kings of Steel, we're unreal.
Without a shed for my new boat, I might as well just throw money away.
Shed? I reckon we could help him out with that, son.
This bloke needs a Titan double garage.
Yeah. Couldn't be better, son. A new shed for his new boat.
That's another mission accomplished.
Call 13 27 36 for the Titan Display Centre near you.
Gold.
Yes, you'll get a personality one day, that boy. Now, that's not you being his dad. Who is the guy that plays his dad?
There's a friend of mine who drives a tip truck around Brisbane.
He wouldn't cop much flack, would he?
Oh, you think? Every time he goes to the dump. Lucky I got a Titan.
What is Drew doing? We were wondering about that earlier. Is he ever likely to race again?
No. He has a wife and a mother.
Well, that's
who have more power than the father.
But he's probably one of the most popular race car drivers since in my 20 years I've been driving Reeve, so I'm sure the fans miss him not turning up the racetrack.
Mate, he's the worst spectator you can imagine. We try to get him involved, and he just gets in his car and goes home. But I don't do watching.
Yeah, it's not easy when you've been racing, I'm telling you.
No.
I mean, one of the most frightening times in your lifetime would have been that night at Echuca Moama when he suffered a horrific head injury.
Oh yes, that was pretty average. You just don't understand how bad it is when your son's lying there bleeding and bits broken off, and they're talking to you like it's, you know, somebody unimportant. You know, it's pretty average.
Did that affect your passion for sprint car racing for a while?
Yep, totally. Yeah, I started to get a bit paranoid about safety. I was giving everybody a hard time about safety. The racetracks, everything. You know, it was pretty scary.
Now, you've, of course, gone on to, well, really fulfil a dream in running a World of Outlaws team for several years in the States. How do you look back on your time as an outlaw owner?
Whew. Mate, I saw 41 states. I did 250,000 kilometres around America in my motorhome. I probably saw more of America than Americans. There's some pretty interesting people in America, I can tell you. Like, some of the places we ended up stopping, talking to people, they have no idea even where Australia is. Can you drive there? Paddles.
Can you make it pay, Reeve? Like, can you get it to a point where it can break even, or where you're not losing money to be on the road for 100 nights a year?
I actually had to pay tax. We won enough money that I had to pay tax a couple of times. We won a couple of races, $50,000 to win.
Kings Royal, that would have helped.
Won the Gold Cup. We won Kings Royal. You know, some pretty special stuff. We won the Winter Nationals at Williams Grove. We won the Summer Nationals at Williams Grove. Huge fun. You know, absolutely huge fun.
Any desire to do it again, Reeve?
No, I probably don't really want to
was
commit
worth
that
asking.
much money.
It was worth asking,
I was going
Trev.
to put my resume in.
Huge commitment. It's one of those things you never add the price up. You just, especially tell your wife.
Is anything left from the Titan Racing USA operation now? Where's it all gone?
No, Pittman bought it all. He sold it all.
Matty Easton brought a lot of it.
Yeah,
I'm led to
Victory
believe.
Lane.
Yeah, Victory Lane.
that right?
Bought, yeah, a lot of the
He
lot
bought
of the
all the
stock.
bolt-on stuff, and he got a good deal. Yeah.
Let's talk about your Australian summer, because you've got a very busy one coming up, and you've recruited one of the live wire races in America in Tyler Walker. Now, Lauren was just mentioning the backflip. He's injured himself, apparently.
Dislocated his right knee.
Unbelievable.
Oh. So we won't be doing any more backflips. And Wade, you better not ask him to.
From an opposition perspective, I wish it happened like a couple of weeks before, Reeve. The World Series starts, because I raced against him in California for the last couple of years when he was driving the 24 car there. And he's going to be that tough here. People don't know what they're in for. He's brought up on the bull rings, and our tracks are bull rings, and his elbow's up here. Are we going to go to Knoxville in a couple of weeks where he just like, you know, we're racing on horse tracks? Well, he's grown up on bull rings, and he's going to be something spectacular this year.
Why, Tyler?
Well, we looked at the whole schedule. Somebody decided to run it way into the end of February, which basically took out a whole bunch of the teams in America, the Outlaws. They start early February. The All-Stars start early February, so you're stuck with California or Pennsylvania.